This is the VECELO queen-size metal platform bed frame, and the first thing that stood out to me is how quiet and solid it feels at night. I turn, I sit, I get up, and the frame stays calm and silent, which makes a real difference when I am actually trying to sleep. The category here is a metal platform bed with a built-in headboard and footboard. I see it as a strong fit for someone who wants a clean, classic look, real under-bed storage, and a frame that does not need a box spring. I lean toward this style when I want something dependable that blends with different rooms. Guest room, primary bedroom, apartment bedroom with limited space. It slots in without asking for attention, but it adds just enough personality that the room does not feel generic. Design-wise, the frame has a matte black finish and a vintage-inspired headboard and footboard with slim vertical bars. The lines are simple and balanced. I like that the corners at the foot end have a gentle curve, because that reduces the chance of bruising a shin when I walk around the bed in low light. The metal slats are built into the structure, so the mattress rests on a grid that actually supports the full surface, and air can move under the mattress. That helps the mattress breathe, and it keeps the sleeping surface from feeling musty over time. The side rails sit a bit higher than the slats, which creates a shallow pocket for the mattress. That small detail matters. It keeps the mattress from sliding sideways when I sit on the edge, and it reduces the need for grippy pads or extra straps. The frame includes caps on the feet, which matter if I am putting it on hardwood or laminate. I have not seen scuffs on my floor, and I did move the bed a few times while reorganizing. Storage clearance under the bed is generous. I measure roughly 12.5 inches from floor to slats. That is enough for standard storage bins, folded luggage, and even a small upright vacuum to slide through. I like using that space for seasonal bedding and spare pillows. The area is open on both sides, so I can access bins without pulling the bed away from the wall. Setting it up took me about an hour and a half working alone. I do not rush assembly because I would rather align everything right the first time. The parts came labeled clearly enough, and the instructions are straightforward, though the print is on the small side. I left the bolts slightly loose through the first pass so the rails and the headboard lined up without stress, then I tightened everything down. Doing it that way prevents those frustrating millimeter misalignments that make holes fight the bolts. It is definitely faster with a second person to hold sections upright while you thread the first few bolts. I used the included tool for most of it and a basic household wrench for the last snug turn on the main bolts. Once tightened correctly, the frame felt immediately steady. I recommend checking the bolts after a few nights of use. I did a quick retighten after a week, and it has stayed set since then. On daily use, the frame feels solid. When I sit on the edge to lace shoes, there is no flex in the rails. When I shift positions at night, I do not hear metal on metal chirps or pops. There is a central support running lengthwise with multiple contact points to the floor, and that does a lot of the heavy lifting for stability with a queen-size mattress, especially when two adults are sharing the bed. The combination of the slat grid and the central support spreads weight cleanly, so I do not feel soft spots or bounce in the middle. I have been sleeping on a medium-firm hybrid mattress on this frame. The slats keep the mattress from bowing between supports, and I have not felt any uneven spots or sag toward the center. Because the slats allow airflow, the mattress surface stays a bit cooler than it does on a solid platform. The bigger performance story here is noise control. Metal frames can squeak if the joints shift against each other. The way this frame locks with cross braces and the square profile of the steel cuts down on play at the joints. I get a quiet bed without needing to add felt or tape at contact points. If I really listen during a heavy toss and turn, there can be a faint tick the moment the mattress settles, but it is rare and not a squeak that repeats. In real use, a few details stand out. The headboard height works with a range of mattress thicknesses without hiding it completely behind pillows. I like to sit up and read, and the bars are spaced so that a pillow stays upright without slipping through gaps. The footboard is low enough that it does not press against my ankles when I stretch out, but it is tall enough to keep the comforter from sliding off the end of the bed. Underbed storage has been genuinely useful. I keep two long bins under one side, and there is still room for a slim box on the other side. The middle support legs do break up the space into sections, so very large single bins will not slide all the way through from one side to the other. I just use a couple of medium bins instead, and that works. For one specific scenario, I hosted family for a few nights and swapped this frame into the guest room. I wanted to see how it felt to someone who is not used to my mattress. 2 adults slept on it, and neither mentioned noise or sway. In the morning, I checked the frame and found no need to retighten anything. I also tried a quick Saturday cleanup with a robot vacuum, and it fit under the frame without getting stuck. That is a small quality of life thing that adds up when I do not have to move furniture just to keep the floor clean. There are some honest trade-offs. The assembly hardware bag includes extra screws, which is nice, but the included tool is small, and my hand got tired by the end. A larger wrench makes the final tightening pass easier. The instructions are clear enough, but the diagrams could be a bit larger for easier reading across the room. The footboard looks great, though if I use an extra long blanket, it sometimes catches at the corners when I make the bed. A quick tuck fixes it, but it is something I notice. If the floor is uneven, the support feet in the center can rock slightly. I solved that by adjusting the placement so that all feet contacted the floor evenly. After that, the frame stayed completely level and silent. A few thoughtful touches improve the experience. The shallow mattress pocket on the rails has been subtle and effective. My mattress does not walk sideways after a week of use, which I have had happen on frames where the rails sit exactly flush with the slats. The foot caps have stayed put even after sliding the bed a short distance to plug in a lamp. I like the powder-coated finish. It resists fingerprints and wipes clean with a dry cloth. No flaking, no chalky residue. The way the cross braces anchor to the rails means that the slats do not rely on friction alone. They screw into place so they do not rattle or migrate. That sounds small, but over months it pays off in fewer noises and fewer adjustments. For mattress compatibility, I tried a memory foam mattress for a couple of nights as well. It felt supported, but I would not use a very soft foam mattress that needs extremely tight slat spacing without checking the manufacturer recommendations. With a modern foam or hybrid mattress that is designed for slatted bases, this frame is a good match. I did not use a box spring. That would add height and reduce storage, and I do not think it is needed here. Day to day, it fades into the background the way a good bed frame should. I notice it when I sit down and the frame does not chirp, when I grab a storage bin without wrestling it out, and when I wake up and the bedding is still where I left it. The style strikes a nice balance. It has a little vintage character in the headboard and footboard, without turning the whole room into a themed set. It works with modern lamps and nightstands just as well as with more traditional pieces. If I were choosing who this is for, I would say it fits people who want a sturdy, no-nonsense metal frame with a soft classic look, real under-bed storage, and a sleep experience that stays quiet. I would recommend it for apartments and guest rooms because it is easy to live with and does not overwhelm a small space. It is also a strong option for a main bedroom if you prefer a metal frame over upholstered wood. If you need an extra tall headboard for propping up lots of pillows, or if you want a bed with built-in drawers, this is not that. If you prefer a totally open foot end for oversized blankets to drape freely, you may prefer a frame without a footboard. For everyone else who values stable build, easy maintenance, and clean style, this bed frame hits the mark. I will post full information about the VECELO queen-size metal platform bed frame in the comments section. See you in the following videos.